So John, thank you for being here. Thank you for your ministry, for following how God has called you throughout the years. You are a witness to us as you strive to instill hope, change hearts, and heal the brokenhearted.
Since I'm taller, you can still see me. Thank you very much. Wow, I'm really honored to be here. I feel like this audience is a great example of God's service, the dedication, what you have done with your lives. I'm sure it's immeasurable. I'm honored and grateful to receive this award and recognition for Bridges to Life, which is always a great help to our work and our ministry. Jesus said, don't hide your light under a bushel basket, I think he said. And so we get to shine our light a little bit. And it's also, I think God gives us these confirmations from time to time, say, hey, you're doing good. You're doing good. So I'm really thankful and honored to be here and appreciate all that you've done in the committee and appreciate all the work you've done all your life. I was thinking on the way up here, the last year of my prayer life and reading has been somewhat trying to find the positives of getting old or getting older. I may get a little empathy in this room for that. And I've been struggling. I've found a few, but it's not plentiful. But one of the positives I see in seeing Raleigh from 52 years ago and looking back, or you can look back and see how God weaved things in your life that you had no idea where it was going in an effort to move you toward doing His will. And I can see that in my life, and I'll briefly mention a few things. I'm not going to tell my life story or anything, but I think y'all appreciate more as Catholics in our Catholic faith how I was blessed to be born into that. First, I was raised by an Irish Catholic mother, and had 7 siblings. There was 8 of us in our group, and my dad was a convert. His father was a Methodist pastor, and he said 8 kids later he was still cussing the Catholics. But anyway, she was just a saint, a wonderful person. Her daddy came over on the boat from Ireland through Ellis Island, quite frankly, so I'm about 70% Irish. And anyway, I was raised by that. I was in a Catholic grade school and taught by the Sisters of Divine Providence. I don't know if they're still around, but that was a group that highly influenced me. I think the greatest influence was my high school years. I went to an all-boys Catholic school, probably in St. Thomas, and the Basilian Fathers. They're based in Toronto, but they have a big presence in Texas and Mexico. And those are formative years. I've got a grandson at that high school now, so it's such a treasure and my sons went there. So, and as I look back, that was one of the true gifts, all those 12 years, but particularly the high school years. So I was fortunate enough to marry my high school sweetheart. My sister Marilyn introduced me to her. She came home when I was a sophomore, and she was a freshman, and said, Johnny, there's 2 beautiful girls in this class, a blonde and a brunette. Would you go out with them? And twist my arm. So I went out with each of them. And I'm still going out with the brunette. So that's a blessing. But fast forward, I had a good life and worked and had 2 kids. And fast forward to 1993 when this tragedy happened. Marilyn was the 5th of the 8. I was 4th and 19 months younger. We had all the same friends. And as I said, she introduced me to my wife, and we're very close, spirit connected. And she was brutally murdered and stabbed by 2 19-year-old strangers, random act, to steal her car and go to a town about 100 miles away. And it was shocking, to say the least, and it put me in a tailspin and really, when you look evil that close in the eye, and it comes and touches someone you love that much, it's an experience that I don't wish on anyone. However, I think, as we all know, our hardship sometimes turn into positives, and God can make something good. I don't think God orchestrates any of these bad things, but I think he gets involved after they happen, and that was in my case. And I went on a 5-year kind of desert spiritual enhancement, I would say. I was always a practicing Catholic, went to church, but I think I changed to where instead of checking the box and going to church every Sunday, I started trying to live my life on a daily basis, seeking God's will daily. And I went through an experience just naming the topics that I studied: total surrender to God. I studied humility. I studied and realized how much God loved me. That was something that I was about 46 or 7 then. I hadn't gotten that really. Acceptance of where I was, gratitude for my life. This was the issue with the murder of my sister. So I progressed to that point, and then as Raleigh said, I volunteered for a program, went in there, and I saw the impact of victim experience. And we define victim as anybody that's had a life-changing experience, whether they're the victim or close to the victim, and it can kind of say change their life to that point was directional. And so we developed this program, and in one prison in 1999, we served, graduated, we call it, 41 inmates in one prison. And it was hard to get in the prisons. The wardens were, they say, well, there's no such thing as confidential conversation with convicts, boy. It's kind of like that down in Texas. And so it was a struggle the first few years. It's a bureaucracy. It's high security. They don't convince easily, to put it that way. We kept on growing, and we started developing a staff. And so anyway, that's grown now. We have a staff of 18, and the sister said we've been in over 200 prisons and in a lot of states. About 80% of our work's been in Texas, and Texas is, if you're going to do prison work, Texas is a pretty good place. We got 98 prisons now. We've been in most all of them except for hospitals or psych wards. So it's been quite an experience. I'll kind of sum up what we do, and I could go into a lot of detail, but we don't have time for that. I had a realization not long ago. I was meeting with a priest, and we were talking about the love chapter, faith, hope, and love, and the greatest of these is love. And it kind of crystallized what we do. We go in our presence, where our feet are, as you said earlier, our presence demonstrates love to these men and women. And we do a lot of females too. And it shows them something they haven't seen. When we first went in, they didn't think we were coming back the next week. It's 14 weeks as we meet once a week. And so we show them love. That opens the door for us to talk about faith and morality. But the door opener is love, so maybe that's why the greatest of these is love, because without the love, they're not going to really listen to you. And by showing up every week and the topics we cover, we can go into that. And then with that comes hope. And that's really our goal, because these people have no hope. They sit there and they say, I'm not going anywhere. God's going to send me to hell. I'm just a piece of you-know-what, and I don't know why y'all come in here. So I look at that now and say love, faith, and hope. And if we can leave there and they have hope, it gives them a chance at a new life and a transformation. So I just wanted to relay those thoughts. The other thought I wanted to mention to you is we have had close to 4,000 volunteers since we started as part of y'all's mission statement in this award. And those people, the two biggest surprises to me of the whole thing, I'll end with this, is how large this work got in this ministry. And secondly, how much the volunteers got out of it. Not just the victim. About 25% of our volunteers have had a crime effect. Just the average layman, 70, and he said, I've learned more in the last 2 years about myself than I learned in the first 68. It's really profound. And so it empowers them to do other things that are better, and empowers their life. And so we appreciate everything you've done and appreciate y'all's work, and we'll keep on doing it. Okay, thank you.